Thomas Frank indicates that Son may stay at Spurs. Could Spurs sign Jack Grealish? And Palhinha rumours continue. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Hello, welcome back to the channel. My name's Craig and here are your daily Tottenham news headlines, where I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube and are not already subscribed to the channel as yet, please consider doing so. Like, share and comment below. And if you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. And if you have a spare moment, please vote for the channel at the Football Content Awards 2025. All of the details are below. Let's get into it. Goal report that Tottenham manager Thomas Frank has provided an update on captain Heung-Min Son's future at the club amid strong interest from MLS side LAFC. Son has entered the final 12 months of his deal at Spurs and is set for crunch talks with the English side over a new deal. LAFC have reportedly offered him a lucrative £15 million per season contract. Speaking to Men in Blazers, the Danish coach said, "I think first and foremost Son's legacy here is remarkable. He's been a fantastic player for Tottenham. He is a fantastic player for Tottenham. I can see a player who can play a very good role here next season. He's come in, very good mindset, trained very hard, pushed the players, so I'm excited about it." A report in Football Insider claims that Tottenham have set their sights on a deal to sign Jack Grealish after missing out on Morgan Gibbs-White, according to the former scout Mick Brown, who also worked as a chief scout at Manchester United and Sunderland and remains very well connected at his former clubs. Exclusively told Football Insider that 29-year-old has moved up the list of targets for Frank. Spurs are aiming to add a new attacking midfield option to their squad, but the England international's ability to play out wide is seen as a valuable asset. Football Insider first and exclusively revealed in November that Tottenham are interested in Grealish amid growing doubts about his future at the Etihad. Former Spurs goalkeeper Paul Robinson told Football Insider that Grealish would be set to thrive at Tottenham and Thomas Frank would be the ideal manager for his comeback. Tottenham are preparing a £45 million bid to sign Bayern Munich midfielder João Palhinha, journalist Sebastian Vidal has claimed. The Europa League winners are reportedly readying an approach for the Portuguese international and have already held talks with Bayern over a potential deal this summer. The report continues by saying that Tottenham are ready to move for Palhinha after initial talks with Bayern, with a bid worth £45 million now being prepared. Palhinha endured an injury-hit first season at Bayern, during which he made just 9 starts across all competitions, along with a further 15 appearances off the bench. Palhinha, who earns around £200,000 a week at Bayern, would bring proven Premier League experience to North London this summer, having made 68 top-flight appearances during his time with Fulham. And this report from Football 365 really caught my eye, so I thought I'd share a summary here. It says Daniel Levy's statement that Tottenham need to win the league was mocked, especially following Ange Postecoglou's sacking shortly after delivering the club's first trophy in 17 years. While Levy's ambition isn't entirely wrong, aiming higher than just one trophy is reasonable. His inability to reflect on his own role is a recurring issue. The Morgan Gibbs-White transfer saga highlighted Levy's missteps, as Spurs appears to be manipulated either by the players' camp or by Nottingham Forest. The result was embarrassment and no player, a situation that typifies the Spursy narrative. Despite their Europa League win and Champions League qualification, Spurs have had very poor signings so far. Key signings like Danso and Tel are solid but not transformative, and progress on selling unwanted players has stalled. The only standout addition is Mohamed Kudus, but overall the club hasn't acted like a top-tier side. The mismanagement comes at the worst possible time. The momentum from the Europa League win could have sparked a new era, but instead Spurs are again a banter club, missing out on opportunities like Xavi Simons and Eberechi Eze. Levy's lofty goals echo Spurs legend Danny Blanchflower's echo of glory ethos, but without the results or strategy to match. It rings hollow. Ultimately, the club risks wasting a rare chance for real progress. And Thomas Frank held his press conference on Tuesday along with Mickey van der Ven ahead of an open training session at the Taikai Stadium and the first ever North London derby outside the UK, which I will summarise here. He said, as regards any fitness issues, that Destiny Udogie has got a knee injury that we're assessing at the moment. When we know more, we'll update. As for Kota Takai, he has plantar fascia, unfortunately could be weeks. On positions he'd like to strengthen in, he said that it is something I would like to keep private. Of course, we're aware where we maybe want to strengthen, but in the general terms of the squad, Kudus has come in and shown his quality already. We are, of course, looking. On the amount of wingers at the club, Frank stated, I think first and foremost, we have some depth in the squad. Richarlison, I see him more as a striker who can play to the side. We need different skill sets. Mickey van der Ven, on having a full pre-season with the club, he stated that he didn't really have a pre-season at Tottenham before. I don't approach differently. It's more time to work on my body, prepare it for the Premier League and Champions League and all the games coming up. Thomas Frank said on Heung-Min Son, I think everyone knows that Son has been one of the best players at Tottenham in the last 10 years. It's important we have players who are flexible. Sonny will always score goals and it's about getting him in those situations. Van der Ven on Luka Vuskovic, he said Luka is only 18 years old, but what you can see from him and how he behaves on the pitch and off the pitch, you can really see as a talented football player. He has a lot of qualities and I think he has shown in the last two friendlies that he has a lot of big and strong points where even our centre-backs can learn from him. He's done unbelievably till this point. Thomas Frank on Mikey Moore heading out on loan, he said it's very important. Mikey is a big talent. I'm really excited about his future here at Tottenham. I think for all players, but especially younger players, they need consistent first team football into their bodies. I think if we can find the right option, we do that. Thomas Frank on if he plans to use Son as a central striker. He said, I think everyone knows that Son has been one of the best players at Tottenham in the past 10 years. I think he's been hugely successful from the left wing. I also think that he's had some fantastic games down the middle as a number 9. So it's important to have players who can play in more than one position, and it's about having our best players on the pitch and available. So the thing about Sonny is that he will always score goals, and it's just about getting him in those situations. On playing Arsenal, Frank said, I think it's a great challenge besides being our biggest rivals in the first North London derby outside the UK. In that way, it's going to be a big test, but it's more than a test against Arsenal. It's not only a friendly. Of course, it's a game we will do everything we can to win. As regards transfers, Frank stated in general, we are constantly talking about transfers. Of course, it's the transfer window. We're in the market. We're still looking out there. On how he's going to improve the injury situation that Spurs suffered last season, Frank said, of course, I'm aware of the injury situation in Tottenham, and I think it's a big thing for any club in the world. Availability is key. If you have availability close to 100%, that is great. I think the games are going up. And finally, a bit of nostalgia for you. On this day, 31 years ago, Spurs signed the one and only Jurgen Klinsmann. Some would say it's the last world-class player at the peak of his powers Spurs signed. Well, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, about Sonny. I just think personally that Thomas Frank isn't going to be giving much away while we're out in the Far East on the tour. I still suspect that Son will leave later in August. I think this deal to LAFC, as I've said before, I think it will appeal to Sonny. And, you know, it's going to be sad to see Son go, but personally I think he will still go, even though Frank's saying he can use him as a centre forward or as a left winger. It's good that Thomas Frank is acknowledging Son Heung-Min's contribution to Tottenham, but ultimately I still think Sonny will be on his way. This report on Grealish, not sure about this one. This is an old one, isn't it? Obviously we nearly got Jack Grealish over the line a fair few years ago, but I just can't see this happening. I think if we were going to move for Grealish, it would have happened then, and it should have happened then, let's face it, when Villa were in the Championship. So I can't see this one happening personally. I do like Jack Grealish as a player. Obviously dropped off recently over recent seasons at City, but obviously hasn't pushed forward his skills to Pep Guardiola, who you know, a club like City. I wouldn't say Pep's a hard man to please, but you know, you've got to perform at a consistent level at City, and Jack Grealish obviously hasn't done that. But I don't think this one goes through. But you know, I wouldn't mind Jack Grealish, but I want the Jack Grealish when he was originally at Villa and first joined City. Not sure we're going to get that. Palhinha again, the rumours about Palhinha. great player. I'd love to see him at Tottenham. I just want Spurs to get a move on in this transfer window. I've said before, we really need to get going because we are falling well behind our rivals. Everyone else seems to be making signings. I don't know how many times I've got to say it. It gets boring after a while, doesn't it? Saying the same thing, listening to the same thing, reporting on the same rumours. I just want Tottenham to come on, make some signings. God, we need them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Palhinha anyway. 100% I'd have him. If we want him, let's go get him. That report on Spurs transfer failures, I agree with almost everything, if not everything in that report. It does seem like failures. Again, I am a bit concerned that we're not bringing in players. We need players, we all know that. We need to strengthen this squad. We need to support Thomas Frank and yeah, I was just hoping a few more players would be through the door before the pre-season tour. It hasn't happened. Basically just kudos. Takai is now injured, which is not a surprise for Tottenham. Hope he gets well soon. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned. But get down in the comments, let me know how you're feeling. I get the impression that everybody feels very similar to me, but I might be wrong. And Thomas Frank's press conference, all the details were there. So just let me know what you make of his answers. I don't think we're going to get much out of Thomas Frank. I think it's going to be fairly bland, if I'm honest, answers from Thomas Frank. I don't think you're going to get a Mourinho or Conte style press conference ever, or even an Ange. I don't expect these press conferences to be very exciting, if I'm honest. But, you know, each manager is different. And finally, Jurgen Klinsmann. I just thought I'd throw that in because a lot of people say, I know Chris has said it, I've said it, was Jurgen Klinsmann our last major signing? Somebody who's 27, 28 years old, at the peak of his powers, World Cup winner. Was he the last one that we signed that was a world-class, top of his game player? For me, it probably was, which is really sad. And that was 1994. Can you believe it? Well, some of you won't remember it. I do, because I'm of a certain age. But anyway, get down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on all those stories today and how you're feeling right now as a Tottenham fan. Come on, you Spurs.